Yeah, one of the really interesting ones that I got to see, and I mean, these criminals were so smart. There was basically a class action lawsuit that had come to an end, and it was time for settlement payment. And the criminals, there was three parties involved, right? And one of the parties was our was a customer we were working with, and the two other parties we were not. And they got an email from the opposing counsel, and the domain was like everything was perfect except like one I and O got swapped on the name in the domain. So they had purchased the domain legit, registered it on Gmail, because G Suite, like when it comes out of Gmail, just the amount of emails coming out of Gmail, it usually will pass most spam filters if it's like seems like legit communication. And then they had copied the entire thread that goes back from however long they were talking to the accounting departments and wiring settlement money and so on, and they then provided instructions to whatever bank account the criminal wanted. So they had been listening to that conversation, and I'm assuming, I don't know exactly how they knew about the lawsuit, probably because in California a lot of those it's public information. So they were in that conversation. They had breached a law firm, not one we were working with, but it was one of the parties, and they were in Chicago. And so it's kind of an interesting conversation, because then the IT director of the law firm had to call this party and be like, hey, yeah, you guys call the other IT guys, you guys have a criminal in your system. There's a data breach. And they're like, no, we're good. Like, no, you're not,
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting to kind of see. But the understanding that these are not like low-level criminals, the amount of brain power and I hate to use the word professionalism, but they kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's that's the downside to being out there and trying to drum up more business, and then putting out all your wins and your victories right out on LinkedIn and social media and all that stuff, because somebody's watching, right? Somebody's always watching, and they're kind of formulating what their next plan is going to be. These guys do a lot of work in this particular sector, whether it's personal injury, whether it's workman's comp, or whatever it is. I mean, when you start putting stuff out there saying these are the large victories that we had, somebody's going to use that to their advantage. So we always got to be on our mindful of that. And obviously, if something comes to us as a class action, obviously we know right off the bat, because we don't deal with stuff like that, right? But the stuff that we do have out there, that we're our founder, one of our founders, Bob Tyson, he's got a couple of books out there on nuclear verdicts, right? So I mean, there's a plethora of information out there that people can use to try to use against you, and we just got to be mindful of that.